Roughing the passer calls.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Roughing the Passer Live with Week 12 in the NFL. Man, Season 2's flying by. As always, I am the DH, and I'm joined by my awesome co-host, Mr. John Newman. What's up, dude?
What's up? I'm just hoping the Steelers get play sometime this century. The game happens Tuesday. We're scheduled for Tuesday, but we'll see. You know, I want to talk about that at some point in this show. What the NFL did with the Broncos compared to the Ravens. Like, talk about double standards, right?
Yeah,
but, we'll save that for later.
Yeah, we'll definitely.
That's called a tease.
Yeah, there you go. Because we've definitely got a jam-packed show. There's a lot going on. What's going on, Ziggy? No, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. As always, guys, we are the only live Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch call-in show for the NFL. Posting the link right down here in the chat. Simply click that link, and you can call in with either video or just audio. And let us know. I mean, if you have any opinion on any of the games today, if you disagree with anything we say, because you probably will. If there's just something you want to get off your chest, call in, let us know. Or we had a poll question up earlier, which I'd love to hear some opinions on. And that is Derrick Henry the best running back in the NFL? So click that link and give us a call. Let us know what you think throughout the show. But as always, John, we'll start off. What's up?
And one other thing real quick. If you can play quarterback, let us know and we'll get a hold of the Broncos for you.
Yes.
And forward your information to Denver. They're looking for someone who can play quarterback.
I actually have
they set the bar low today.
I've got a couple of contacts in the the media area outside of Denver. So let me know. Maybe I can pass them your way, and who knows? I mean, they tried to. I thought before we do get into the scores, I do want to say greatest thing ever trying to get a coach to play quarterback. That's fucking awesome. I love it. Like it's bad when you tried to petition the NFL to say, look, guys, the best chance we have to win is if we take our coach who hasn't been touched, hit, run through shit, and go out there and play quarterback. That's terrible. But we'll get into that here in just a little bit, as we do need to run down this week's scores. Gotta take a breath before we do that. But quite an interesting week in the NFL, as we said. Let's see, we'll get up here to top of week 12. So obviously on Thursday, the Texans handled the Lions 41-25 on Thursday, along with Washington destroying.
Where's the Steelers? I don't see the Steelers score on Thursday. What happened?
Yeah, I know, right? Well, we'll talk about that. 41-16 Washington over the Cowboys. Quite the shocker there. Chargers losing today to the Bills 27-17 in a game that looks close right there, but was not fucking close at all.
I got something to say on that game. Go ahead.
Well, I got lots to say on all these games. But next up, we had the Titans taking on your Colts and handling them easily behind Derrick Henry. He just took this game over by himself, 45-26. And then my Panthers, they pulled a Carolina and looked like the Carolina of old, at least when it mattered most. Joey Sly, who regularly kicks 80-yard field goals in practice, shanks a gimme 54-yard field goal. The Vikings hang on to beat the Panthers 28-27. The Browns beat the Jaguars in a battle of the really who gives a shit game. And then next up, you had a battle of Division III college football. Giants beating the Bengals 19-17. Then you had a game that I was shocked by, and that is the Patriots coming back behind Cam Newton and a strong performance from that team all around, beating a very good Cardinals team 20-17. You had the Dolphins absolutely manhandling this excuse of a football team called the Jets 20-3. The Falcons absolutely demolishing the Raiders. As soon as you think the Raiders are legit, I mean, this score 43-6 happens. And
this is one of my picks.
I
took the Raiders and the 3 points. I think I
took the over. Atlanta almost hit it by themselves, but they still fell a little short combined. But next up in a game that I think nobody's shocked about, 31-3 Saints over the Broncos, who apparently had 11 men and I don't know, some other person on the field. And in a very shocking last second win, the 49ers beat the Rams 23-20. And then you had the Chiefs taking on Mr. Tom Brady and handled them with ease at the beginning. It ended up being a close game, but Pat Mahomes did his thing as always, 27-24. And our game that we've got going on right now is a nail biter with the Packers up 27-3 against a good old Mitch Trubisky and the Chicago Bears. So, John, before we get into all of our segments and shit, looking at that scoreboard, what stands out? What was the game, that stood out to you the most? Because there's a lot.
Well, I'll just say this. I don't know. I think I might have just lost the picks for the year. I went 0-3-1 today. So I'm probably the last guy to give us. Yeah, I went 0-3-1. The Kansas City game I pushed. Okay. I lost Cleveland, Jacksonville. They scored over 49. I lost Arizona at New England. I lost Vegas. That game was a disaster. I think that game stands out, and I watched the Buffalo-San Diego game, and Anthony Lynn is the problem in I keep calling San Diego, the Chargers.
So, Anthony Lynn's a problem. Real quick, while you say that, because
put him on the board.
I was about to say, Lynn on this board. Last week, Matt Patricia was added to the fired meter, and he lasted exactly 1 week. And we were just about right as they fired him pretty quickly. So we need a new addition. So we might as well go on and add him on there right now because I agree with you. But keep on going. Anthony Lynn's getting added.
It's terrible. And you know how you watch a game and usually the announcers are pretty politically correct. And even though they might think something, they don't really throw anyone under the bus. Today, I don't know who it was. I could probably look it up. But whoever the announcer was, I was shocked because he really just – it almost like he forgot the mic was on because he was just basically saying this Chargers team's way too good to lose some of these games. Even he said, not even talking about this game here against the Bills, but how many close games have they lost? Anthony Lynn's clock management skills are terrible.
I'm gonna start it off at halfway right away. At half at 50 because honestly, bro, I agree with you. You've got a rookie quarterback. I talk about it all the time. This is the NFL now. You got a hot rookie. You better fucking win on that rookie contract. There's no time to let's build this team around him, blah, blah, blah bullshit. That's not how it works nowadays. And they're in a division that's ripe for the taking. I mean, to where they could easily walk into the playoffs every year. The AFC is, I think, getting a little weaker outside of Mahomes. I think you've got to get somebody in there. But the problem is though, is you run into, do you want to keep, you see what happens when rookies get too many coaches early. It can really stifle how they play and their development overall. And so that's the one thing that would concern me.
Well, I think you got to win games or you're not going to have to worry about Justin Herbert. Development because he's going to take off. You got to win games. You got to show him and his teammates Like you want to win. This roster's too good to be 3-8.
Way too
I mean,
good.
you look at this right. Look, no one even expected no one even, and that's with Herbert playing way better than people anticipated. And then
He
you
was
got
a
Keenan Allen,
project.
Austin
He was a
Eckler.
project.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be a
Yeah.
project.
You got a pretty good defense with Bosa and Ingram. You got, I know Derwin James is hurt, but he's you got too many pieces in place to be 3-8. They've lost too many close games. Whoever the announcer was today, like I said, I wish I could give him proper credit. He was very forthcoming. He basically said this 3-8 season falls on Anthony Lynn and his coaching. This team is, he said what we're saying right now. This team is way too talented. He said they could be 8-3. He said that you could reverse their record with this talent and the way
100%.
And the clock management today, Drew, as someone to watch the game, was brutal. Mike Tomlin gets criticized, and rightfully so sometimes. He's gotten better, but he's not famous for being a great clock management guy. Today's performance in that category by Anthony Lynn was the worst I've ever seen.
No,
ever
terrible.
In any level, including college.
Yeah. No, it made the Jets look like a competent team. I agree. It was absolutely pathetic. If I'm a Chargers fan right now, if I'm players in that locker room, I'm looking exactly like this right now. That's what I'm looking like. Oh, whoops. I'm sorry. Oh, that's another picture from today. But sorry, had to get a little shot in there real quick. But I'd be furious. That you've got to be better than that. You've got to, like I say all the time, there's too much talent. Hunter Henry, the top of the line tight end, Keenan Allen, great receiving core. You've got 3 great running backs that can also catch out of the backfield, play slot, move around, and play lots of different positions. You can get very creative, yet Anthony Lynn, I don't know what he's doing. And I completely agree with you. He's a complete joke. He's the next guy up on our board. So far, we've had 2 guys, and they've both lost their jobs. I think he'll probably last the season, but we'll see where the meter keeps going here. But definitely an interesting one, that's for sure.
Yeah, he might make it through the year, like you said. But if he's back on the sideline next year, I'd be shocked, and that would be a terrible move with the Chargers if they did that. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess before we get into everything, one other game I guess we need to talk about before we get into our game balls and goats, and I want to also address the situation that you were talking about, the double standard that you wanted to get to. But the game today between Tampa and Kansas City. This was, obviously a huge game for, many reasons. Tampa really needed to win badly. I think Mahomes wanted to show people what he could do. And holy hell, man. Well, I'll segue it right into our game balls and goats segment, because my first game ball goes right to Tyreek Hill. This shit's absolutely insane, dude. The stuff that they did today, and they're both of mine, Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. These 2 guys single-handedly took over a game, and just the first quarter they made it a complete and total joke. I mean, they ran all over Tampa. And Tampa had no answer. And they've got weapons there. You want to talk about a team with weapons? They brought weapons in. They brought more weapons in. They've got former crackheads now playing. I mean, they've brought everybody Tom wanted in. And they can't do a damn thing. But even in a game where, I mean, they still don't even put up 35 points, and they can't catch up to them. There's a problem in Tampa. But for my game balls this week, as we segue into game balls and goats, man, I got to give it to 2 people, and that is Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. Absolutely phenomenal. And Tyreek Hill, thank you so much on the DFS side of things. 50-some points, 57 points, something like that. Absolutely incredible. Give it up to him. So he gets my game ball this week, along with Patrick Mahomes.
They can't argue that. Going to Tom Brady, he did. He's not playing well. He's not playing
No.
terrible, but he's also not playing well. Some more interceptions, and a lot of people still picking him for Super Bowl. I'm not going to be one of those guys. And
Yeah.
but this game told me a little bit too. Again, Kansas City doesn't look like the invincible team they did last year and at certain points this year. And so it gives me, as a Steeler fan, hope that door is there, that we can make the Super Bowl and get by them, because when you look at the rest of the AFC, it sort of looks like a potentially a 2 or 3 team sort of race, where to me the NFC could be any of 4, 5, 6 teams depending on the week.
Yeah.
I thought it was the Rams, and I thought it was going to be the Rams, and then today happened.
Dude, what is that team? What is that team?
Yeah,
who are they?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. A lot of teams. Look at the Falcons. How about the Raiders? The Raiders look like they were going to have something to say in the AFC, and then they got taken to the woodshed by a Falcons who aren't playing for really anything.
Without Julio Jones, with a banged up Matt Ryan, they let the fucking Falcons put up 43 points on you.
Yeah, that is
pathetic. Like, absolutely pathetic.
That's almost like coaches should get fired stuff. It's John Gruden, so it's not going to happen.
Oh God, no.
But
definitely
it's crazy, man.
It is. So those two guys got my game balls, and guys, please call in and join the show. Let us know who gets your game ball and who your goats are. We'll get to our goats in just a minute. But John, who gets your game balls this week, my man?
Well, I went a little different. I mean, let's get Derrick Henry out of the way. I mean, that kind of that's just an obvious. Tyreek Hill, and then I went with a couple other guys that aren't as obvious and not as expected. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Deebo Samuel coming off injury, 11 catches, 133 yards. I started him. I wasn't sure. I almost didn't, but I did. I won both my fantasy leagues. I also have Derrick Henry, so that helps too. And another guy that, Giants fans pull their hair out with this guy, but today he came to play, and that's Evan Ingram, 6 catches, over 100 yards. And, he's always been like a guy I look to and say, man, if he ever gets his act together, he could be like a prototypical current tight end, that like game-changing tight end.
Yeah.
But just never seems to happen for him. Between injuries, he drops balls. He disappears in games. He's never really lived up to the height. When he came in as a wide receiver playing tight end. He was going to put up, 8 catches every week and 80 yards, 90 yards, 100 yards. And we just really haven't seen it. And today he showed it a little bit, but the consistency's not there. And so I don't know how long he's going to be in the Meadowlands, but today he earned his paycheck anyway this week. And so I went with those 3. Tyreek Hill. I honestly, it's an oversight. I don't know how that is, but
it's a fucking video game.
You don't score 57 fantasy points and not get a game ball. And so
you can't talk about Tyreek Hill also. You can't talk about Tyreek Hill also without seeing this fucking beauty. I mean, this was just funny to me. First, he gets his touchdown. Then he decides, well, I'm just going to turn around and backflip into the end zone. So nicely done, Mr. Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, crazy.
I love it. But no, I agree. All of them, great picks. But Ziggy has a question I want to get to. So let's go through and give out our goats this week. My goat this week, honestly, it took me. There were a couple of different people that I wanted to go with, a couple from the Thursday game, but I'm gonna go. I'm still struggling with deciding on who it is, but I'm honestly gonna go with Jared Goff and the Rams. Jared Goff to me,
he's on my list. He got one of mine.
Jared Goff is not a good quarterback. Like I was never a fan at the beginning. I I struggled to see what everyone saw in him. I saw a guy that could win some games and manage some games and be in the right system. But today against the fucking 49ers, who might as well be a damn case study for COVID in sports, 19-31 for 198 yards and 2 interceptions. And 5 rushes for 11 yards when he's running for his goddamn life. I mean, this is a terrible, terrible team. They're 7-4, which is shocking. But I look at this team and absolutely pathetic. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they end up 7-9. I would not be surprised if they lose the rest of their games. It was absolutely ridiculous. I don't know who the hell the Rams are anymore. I have no faith in them. If you put them in a matchup with any serious team in the NFC, I'm taking the other team. I have no faith in the Rams.
Yeah, I have a little more faith, but the problem is that Goff's not the answer there, and I think he's showing that now. And they go as far as he goes. So when he plays well, which he does every once in a while, they win. When he throws a stinker up there like he did today, I like to say one guy doesn't win or lose games. Today in this game, I almost can't say that. I think he has any sort of an average game, they probably win this game. But his poor play cost them the game today. They still almost won. So you can't say his poor play didn't cost them the game. I mean, that's terrible. This is a game. Yeah, Antonio Gibson had a huge day. He's that rookie that people don't he doesn't get enough credit. So I have Goff too. So we each have the same guy for GOAT. And I don't know if you want to we really nothing to say there. We said, he's not the answer.
No, and I think that team is good enough. That team is good enough to win a Super Bowl if you put the right quarterback behind them. That team is incredibly talented. Yeah. I think Akers is going to be incredible. They've got the wide receivers. I don't understand what's going on right now. But I want to move on now, John, because we've got a lot of questions here from everyone in the comment section. Thanks so much for tuning in. Nick Gable, Ziggy No, Scott, what's going on, buddy? Hope you're feeling better and everything. But guys, please call in and join the show. I put the link in the comments as well. But a lot of questions here about the COVID and everything that's going on right now. And Ziggy No even said is if the Chiefs had no quarterback like Denver, they wouldn't play, he says. Will the Steelers game happen with Connor having COVID? And you, like you mentioned, the double standard earlier. Here's a perfect chance for you to address what you wanted to talk about. So go in. Let's talk about this for a minute. With the Steelers game here and how the NFL is handling it, what exactly are they doing, and do they really have the plan that they said they had?
Well, here's the thing. They pushed the Ravens-Steelers game back twice. They did it with the Ravens before with the Titans earlier in the year. The Broncos have a similar situation where their whole quarterback room is wiped out, and they don't grant them the same leniency that they granted the Ravens. Like, what are you doing, Goodell? What are you doing, NFL? Like, if you're going to make the rules, they need to apply to everyone the same way. Yes. Right? And if I don't know what the deal is going to be with Tuesday night, and if the Ravens are going to be ready to play. But if they're not, and listen, anyone who knows me knows I don't want cheap wins. I want to play the game. I want the Steelers to beat the Ravens on the field. But if the Ravens can't get that a third time, it can't be no more postponements. This has got to go down as a forfeit. It's coming out that it was a coach who went to a gathering without a mask, broke protocol. They fined other teams for this and penalized other teams for similar situations. So, the NFL, if you're going to make rules, I'm not against rules. Rules are good. Yes. But apply the rules to everyone the same. What happened in Denver today was an embarrassment to the league. No disrespect to Kendall, the quarterback who comes off the
they had to try and get a fucking coach
in Wake Forest.
They tried to get a fucking coach. They called my quarterback. I mean,
they called my son who played quarterback in high school. They called Jordan up to play. I'm
It's a
kidding,
joke.
but that's how bad. Like that is that the product? Is that the example they want to say? Hey, we'll take care of you, Ravens. We'll keep pushing the game back. But no, Denver, you play some guy that like threw 2 passes 6 years ago at Wake Forest. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, I'm not even saying that the Denver game shouldn't have been played. But if you're going to make Denver play today, then Baltimore should have had to field some sort of team on Thursday night.
Yes, no,
you know
100%.
Like,
and Nick, you can talk about asterisks and all that stuff all you want. 2020 just has a massive asterisk next to it. Like, instead of remembering it as 2020, it might as well just be a Nick, big fucking asterisk. Like,
let me answer next question. I don't want the forfeit, Nick. I wanted the game to be played Thursday. I wanted it to be played today when they moved it to today. And now it's Tuesday. I want it to be played Tuesday.
Yeah.
But we can't keep pushing this back for one team. They've done this 4 times almost now for the Ravens. They did it with the Titans game. So like, but you couldn't do it for Denver. Like, the NFL right now is making different rules for different teams. You can't do that. Make the rule, whatever it is, and do it for everybody. And that's all I'm saying. You know, if Conner can't play, if James Conner can't play Tuesday, James Conner can't play Tuesday. That's the breaks. Benny Snell will start. You know, Benny Snell will start, and that's fine. That's called depth. That's why teams have drafts. That's why teams have free agent signings. It's why I say if Ben Roethlisberger goes down, we're in trouble because we got no backup quarterback. So if Ben Roethlisberger, God forbid, gets COVID that week, we're done for. So
no, 100%.
That's the breaks.
I completely agree with you, man. I thought it was a complete joke how they handled this. Completely unfair to the Broncos, and honestly put everyone in the Saints organization at risk, in my opinion, because if it truly was a coach, then if from what I've been told, there was a lot more broken protocols than just that coach since then. The transfer of him not wearing his bracelet, not being able to even know who he was in contact with, there's no way to even tell how far it went, where it went, and putting the Saints at risk, but then making them play that game. But like you said, pushing this back. Lamar Jackson gets it. The second he gets it and it gets announced, the game gets moved back. Then they move it back again. I mean, you've got to either play the fucking games or you've got to move them back. The NFL said, and the Players Association agreed to it. So I thought they had something in place for this. Contingency plans for stuff like this when it happened. But it's plain as day now that Roger Goodell and the NFL, and I don't know if it's Maurice Smith or who the fuck it is now. DeMaurice Smith. Yeah. I don't know what they're doing, but they really don't have a plan. And I do want to touch on Ziggy. No, you said they need a bubble for the playoffs. That's actually what I was going to say. The playoffs, I will guarantee you with everything that's going on right now, there will be a bubble for the NFL playoffs. They will create some type of atmosphere for the playoffs. Yeah,
that story broke actually this evening that the NFL is looking at a bubble for the postseason. And I think you get into postseason, you want all your you want your full complement of players. And Nick is right, like I said. That game was a joke. The NFL is a brand, right?
Yeah.
The NFL is a brand. That was a bad example of your brand. And it could have been avoided. And it's not precedent setting. They've already set the precedent with the Ravens pushback multiple times. So push back the Denver game. There's going to be another pushback game because if the Ravens play the Steelers on Tuesday night as scheduled now, they're not going to be able to play the Thursday game. That thing's going to be moved to Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, most likely into next week.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I was a little curious. So I watched a illegal stream of some of this game because I wanted to hear about it because I'm thinking to myself, okay, whoever's broadcasting this game, I mean, the NFL, they've got their rights with them. It's never going to change. They're going to, the storyline of this game is COVID and the quarterback situation. So literally that's what they're talking about 95% of the game. When you're talking about, that's what the NFL wants to present as their product to people. Are you kidding me? These announcers and everyone, the entire game, all it was just how bad they feel for it, the ridiculousness of asking a coach to be able to be quarterback. I mean, it was a sideshow that they put on today over there, and it's pathetic. I honestly felt bad for him, and hopefully they get at least something in order and get something under control. Now, I've seen a couple of comments from you guys. Thanks so much for commenting. Please call in and join the show and let us know what you think. The link's right there in the comments.
And then Roger Goodell wonders why he gets booed.
Right, but I know, but I don't think that, like, I've seen a couple of people ask if we think that they'll put the season on hold. I do not think the season will be put on hold. I think they will do as much adjusting as they possibly can. They will push it back as much as they possibly can. They will move it. They will do everything they can, but I don't see it being postponed as like, let's shut everything down, because so far it has been semi-isolated. Now, if the Saints come out and get it from this and it becomes a big mess, then that's another story, which is something I'm concerned about. But, I don't see that. But I wanted to let you touch on that, because there is a double standard. And I knew it affected your team big time, so I wanted you to address that.
The only way they do that, Drew, the only way they have like a shutdown, complete
Patrick Mahomes,
this thing would have to just get off. No, this thing would have to get off the rails. You'd have to have like 30-40% of the teams massively affected, where just putting pause or moving games around won't get it done.
Nick, I could watch football.
I think you're going to see a bubble in the postseason, and
Nick, I could watch football in March, April, May, June, July. I don't care. They can keep playing as long as they want. Absolutely, John. It's definitely a little crazy. But
I mean, listen, we got to give them a little pass with the pandemic. Like, there's you can't anticipate this kind of scenario. But at the same time, that they made roster rules, they made roster adjustments. They expanded the rosters and the practice squad. If the Steelers had 3 or 4 guys that weren't going to be able to play on Thursday night, had that game went off as scheduled, then that is what it is. We brought up guys from the practice squad in anticipation of playing that game, and then it didn't happen. So, like, you gotta have roster. You made roster rules to make sure these games get played, and that's the rules. With Denver asking for their coach to play, and they said no. Why not? Why not? Why couldn't it be played?
I know.
You can sign anyone you want, right? They could sign Blake Bortles off the street today. Now he'd have to wait. He'd have to wait a week to pass the protocol. Yeah, but if you have a guy that's already been tested and he's willing to take that risk and put the pads on as a former player, then why? What I didn't understand is, why did the NFL say no to that? He's already part of the organization. He's already passed the protocols. Is it ideal?
He was a starting quarterback. He was a starting quarterback recently. Like, it wasn't like 50 years ago. I mean, it was not that long ago. He was a starting quarterback at an okay school. I mean, he has qualifications. He easily should have been able to play that game.
Yep, and it's not unprecedented. It's been a while, but there has been player coaches in the NFL. It's been many, many moons, but it's not unprecedented. It's not ideal. There's a lot of guys. Blake Bortles is a guy I'll take in Pittsburgh as my backup, not as my starter.
He's on the Rams. He's on the Rams.
He's
on the Rams.
Oh, did they pick him up?
Bortles is on the Rams now.
All right.
Yep. So
Well,
Bortles
maybe
is
he'll be
actually off the
if
market. I
Jared
looked
Goff
the
keeps
other day.
if Jared Goff keeps playing the way he did today, Bortles might be the starter there.
Yeah, you got that right. All right. Well, we'll move on now because I want to touch on wait, what was that? Hold on, we got a comment I just missed. Who we're talking about? The Denver Broncos petitioned the NFL to ask one of their coaches to be their quarterback today because they were hit so hard with COVID. That's what we're discussing, Mr. Mattiasi. Thanks so much for joining the show.
Who has experience? He
Yes.
is a former quarterback.
Yeah.
So it's not like the coach just said, "Hey, man, I can throw it." I'm like Uncle Rico. I can throw a nice spiral.
Yeah, over the mountain it goes. But we'll move on from the COVID situation, and we'll kind of touch on, I don't know if you guys saw on Facebook, please always interact with the poll questions and stuff that you do see, as you'll see them much more frequently now. But let's move on now, John, to a game that was a battle between two very good football teams in the AFC, two very good up-and-coming teams in the Tennessee Titans and the Colts. And this game I thought was going to be a close one, but then Derrick Henry decided to be Derrick Henry. And that man just strictly took the entire game over. And I asked the poll question earlier, but is Derrick Henry the best running back in the NFL? You've got a Tennessee Titans team that's now 8-3. This man today just went absolutely
I think he is.
off.
But, it's crazy. Oh, am I on?
No, yeah, you're on, man. What's up?
All right. Yeah. No, I think he is. And when you think about what Derrick Henry does, when everyone knows he's getting the ball and they stack 8-man in the box and he just carries people 10 yards and averages 6.6 yards every time he touches the ball, when everyone and their mother knows he's getting it and they still can't stop him, that's impressive. And he's we had a recent run of Alabama running backs that come out and have flopped, and he's bucked that trend. He's the guy that says, you know what, it stops with me. I'm not going to be another failed Alabama running back in the NFL. And not only has he said that, but he's become the best back in the NFL. Yeah. And but you know this just as well as I do. Running backs' shelf lives are short windows of time. We could have made McCaffrey last year was probably the best running back in the NFL. Saquon Barkley was the best running back in the NFL the year before McCaffrey. The year before Barkley, it was probably Zeke Elliott. And so every year it seems like it's probably going to be somebody else.
Yeah, it's always going to be someone else every year. I mean, that's been throughout history. I mean, Marino, Montana, Jim Kelly, Aikman, they all went back and forth with who had the better years. But when you look at it overall and you start to look at, Derrick Henry just hit 5,000 career rushing yards. Dude's not been in the league long at all. I mean, this is some insane stuff he's doing in an era where you don't get that many carries. I mean, running backs that get 27 carries at least every single game is very rare these days. And to be able to produce like he does let's be honest, with Tannehill out there, he threw 22 times today. Like they're stacking the box all day long. By the way, a couple of those passes went to, you guessed it, Derrick Henry, but they're stacking the box completely against him. Their blocking is tremendous. I will give them that. This is a team that's what impresses me. They block well. They give Tannehill does just enough to get him by. The defense plays great. The defense, Kenny Vaccaro, Malcolm Butler, Simmons, a lot of very good people on that team. I mean, the Titans are a team that are sneaky, sneaky good to me.
Yeah, they got Clowney too, and he's doing absolutely nothing. So they're not getting any return on investment on Jadeveon Clowney. So no, Derrick Henry, hands down, is the best back. He might win MVP of the league this year. They go as far as Derrick Henry takes them. And last year he almost took them to the Super Bowl. We don't forget about last year. This is not, like you said, 5,000 yards. He's not a flash in the pan. This isn't a one-hit wonder type of situation. No. This guy's the real deal. And each year they're scheming more defensively to try to stop him. Because
and that's what I'm saying. Like when you look at their overall bodies of work right now, I mean, I think the top running backs in the game, in my opinion, would be Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook. But, I mean, when you look at everything, Dalvin Cook being injured so much, I have to put him at 3. McCaffrey now being injured this year, I'd have to put him at 2 because Henry has been that guy that continually produces and produces and produces. Zeke, you could put up there. Saquon, you could put up there. But again, more guys that have suffered through injuries. So overall body of work, I mean, nobody, in my opinion, comes close right now to Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I mean, if you're having a running back draft where you have to pick running backs in order, he's probably going to be the first one off the board or two, depending on, on what team. But he's durable. He doesn't really get hurt, which is why he's as good as he is. Those injuries, I love Saquon Barkley, but he's got to be on the field playing. I'm not saying it's his fault, right? But, if you're not playing, you're not producing.
No.
And so this is a what have you done for me lately league, and nothing yet right now. And so Henry, to me, it's really I think it's not even debatable. Last I checked, it was 60%. I'm surprised that number is that low. I think you got certain people that just are going to vote for their team guy. You know what I mean? There's probably people in Pittsburgh that will say laughable, but we'll say James Conner. No, he's not. I'm sorry, but if you're being honest, he is, and he's a guy I'd love to have, and I think that's how you pick the best guy at a position. Would 31 other teams or whatever it is take him over their guy? And most teams, with the exception maybe of a couple, would definitely do it in a heartbeat. And he's right there. And so, he instantly makes them formidable. No one's game planning against Ryan Tannehill. It's, in that defensive room, when you're playing the Titans that week, it's, hey, we got to neutralize Derrick Henry. Easier said than done, as we all know now. But that's the game plan. That's the recipe to beat them. It's not being done very often, but that's what you got to do. And anytime a running back is the focus of a defensive game plan, that tells you a lot about how good that running back is. Because choose your quarterback that gets game planned upon.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if you see a very similar run than what you saw last year from this team in the playoffs. If they get the right matchups, this team, barring injury and everything, I mean, Davis and A.J. Brown are finally proving to be a really, really stud combo when they need to be. They just get forgotten about quite a bit. But definitely, at least in my opinion, he's got to be the best running back in the game right now. But moving on, man, before we got a little bit of time here, guys. Please call in and let us know if you've got any questions about today's game.
Let me give my goats real quick.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, your goats. Yeah, give me your goats.
Yeah. So I got. Well, wait. One was Goff, so I got two more.
Yeah.
One's a coach and one's another quarterback. So Anthony Lynn, we talked about him.
Yeah.
He's one of my goats today.
He's on. He's on the fire meter. He's on the fire meter.
Yeah. And then Derek Carr, I mean, that's ridiculous. He goes one week. He looks like he goes toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes, and today he gets taken to the woodshed by Matt Ryan in a game that you got to win. And not only did they not win it, they lose by 37 points. He throws an interception, no touchdowns, under 200 yards. I think his completion percentage was about 50%. Not good.
Vegas Dave's at home clutching that briefcase, balled up in a corner, crying right now like this, right? Just holding. I mean, Derek Carr
I
was
don't know how much
pathetic.
crying. I don't know how much crying he's doing after the Trout sale, but
Yeah, I know.
yeah, he's not real happy about the Carr's
No,
inventory right now for sure.
But Carr is one of those guys that's just like Goff, man. I mean, it's what the hell
they're
are you? What are you
interchangeable.
gonna be? What are you gonna be?
Yeah, I think too, man. You get this point in your career, Carr, Goff, Trubisky's getting close to that stage. Wentz. I kind of think you know, like Dennis Green, you are what you are, right? And they might be just kind of serviceable backup quarterbacks, guys that can come in and win you a couple games when your elite quarterback or your first tier quarterback gets hurt. God forbid, right? Yeah. But I don't know if they're full-fledged starters. They're not going to be guys to me that can win you a Super Bowl. I think they're going to cost you a game. I mean, you know, today Jared Goff cost the Rams a game against the 49ers.
Yeah,
100%. And so, you know, I'm not saying Derek Carr cost them a game they lost by 37 points, but he surely didn't help them be competitive in it.
No.
So what's going to happen? You have 1 week like that in the playoffs, it's over. It's go home.
Right.
You could go 14-2, but if you have a game like that in the playoffs, right, it's over.
Done.
It's like a point guard in basketball, right? They say point guard win March Madness, right? Well, quarterbacks win playoff games, and if you don't have one, you're not going to be very long in the playoffs. And you know, so we'll see, and you know, we'll see. The Raiders got some questions for next year because I'm going to say a lot of these guys we're talking about are going to be wearing different jerseys next year. Carr, Wentz, Trubisky. You know, we talked last week about some of the younger guys like Darnold and Daniel Jones. They're going to be some of these mid veterans that are going to be. There's going to be a lot of quarterback carousel. It's going to be. I'm going to call 2021 ahead of time a quarterback carousel year. You're going to see.
Yeah,
a lot of guys.
I have a feeling this offseason, when we actually get to have an offseason to talk about, it's going to be an offseason of quarterbacks changing teams. A lot of these guys, I think teams just realize the urgency when you have that lightning in the bottle now. You have to capture it. You have to put the right people around it, and you have to fucking go for it. But I think
you're gonna see a lot of these guys not even starting anymore. They're gonna be backup somewhere.
Yes, well, of course.
Wentz, I've said this last week.
That's what I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to talk about real quick before we get to the shit whip of the week. I want to preview tomorrow night a little bit because reports are coming out that Jalen Hurts is going to get the most snaps he's ever gotten in an NFL game, and he's going to get his most playing time tomorrow night in the game against Seattle. So is tomorrow night when the Jalen Hurts era begins? Is he going to do enough, do you think, to impress? Because, I mean, if they're going to put him out there and he's going out there and every time he goes out there he's producing and Carson Wentz continues to play like Carson Wentz has been playing, you've got to eventually just say, hey, Carson, grab the clipboard, right?
This is a job interview, right?
And
Jalen Hurts is going to come to the job interview tomorrow, and he's either going to ace the interview and get the job, or they're going to say, "Oh man, you know, he was okay, but I think we're going to go with the other candidate we interviewed, right? Or we interviewed 2 years ago, and he's going to keep the job, right? So tomorrow's the audition. Maybe job interviews, a better word. Tomorrow's the audition. Like, he's already employed by the Eagles. They believe in him enough to pick him higher than where many draft experts predicted him to be drafted. So tomorrow's the audition. Like, do you want the role? Here's your script. Here's your lines. Let's see some emotion. Read it. And do you get the part? Does he answer the roll call? And you know, that's what tomorrow's going to tell you. And if he goes out there and plays well, that's probably the end for Carson Wentz. And, I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to find out where they're at in that quarterback room. Where Wentz has done what he's going to do this year. He's shown an inability to make plays. He's shown a propensity to throw picks. He leads the NFL in picks. He leads the NFL in passes defense. In other words, knockdown and incomplete by a defender, either picking the ball off or breaking the play up. He leads the league in both of those categories. Two categories you do not want to lead the league in if you're a quarterback. And you know that these teams have analytics departments. He's not fooling everyone. Those brass know that he leads in these categories. And so tomorrow is, hey, we know what we got right now with Wentz.
Yeah.
Let's find out what we got with the other car in the garage. We know how fast this car goes. We know it makes some clunky noises, and it rides a little bumpy. But let's try out this other new car we got.
Well, they're also in a very unique situation where you're in the shittiest conference in the history of the entire world. Yeah. To where like you can literally tinker and mess around with this stuff. And I mean, hell, you can lose the game fooling around and seeing which of these guys works and playing college where you use two quarterbacks all game. You can do that, fuck around and lose just to figure out who the quarterback is if you're going to rally off 2 wins, because 2 wins in a row in that division and you're damn division champions. So, I mean, it's a joke of a division, which puts them in a very unique situation to be able to actually test this, to be able to put him out there, to be able to try some of this. And I mean, let's be honest, I think they know that they're probably going to get like this segment we're about to get to. They're probably going to get shit whipped tomorrow by Seattle. It's probably not going to be pretty, I don't think. So you might as well put it out there. It's definitely a test. I think it's a good test. I'm glad he's getting these reps against Seattle because Seattle's defense has been struggling. It's not the defense of old. I think they could do, they could put some points up. I just think that Dangerous is going to put up a whole lot more. But I think, I mean, if I had to answer the question that's on the screen that I put up myself, I do think the Jalen Hurts era begins at least after tomorrow night, because I do think this is going to be a pounding.
Yeah, and that it's a rough situation to be in. I know Seattle's defense is not good, but they're probably going to lose.
They're not
game.
bad.
And so is it the right situation? I don't know, but they need to find out what they got. You can tell some things in practice, Drew. You played, I coached, but until you get game speed against opponents trying to rip your head off, you really don't know what you got. I've seen many a player light up a practice for me, and then when the lights come on in the game, they're okay and not the same guy. So I think Phillies needs to see the guy they're seeing in practice. Is it going to happen when the lights are hot? And that's what they're going to find out, or try to find out tomorrow. Is it fair? Here's the other thing. If he comes out tomorrow and doesn't play well, does that mean he stinks? No. But it really puts him into a dilemma, because now what do? You got Wentz, who's not playing well, and Hurts didn't show you a lot, but he's young and he's got time. So they're really hoping. I mean, they're crossing their fingers and they're like, man, I hope Hurts shows out, because it'll make the Wentz decision that much easier for them to do, because the fans want Wentz. The fans will rent the moving truck to Wentz's house for him. He won't have to pay anything to get out of Philadelphia. The fans will cover all his expenses.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. Well, one thing's for sure is we're gonna find out tomorrow what's going to happen there. So, John, it is about that time. We got about 5 minutes left, so it's time for one of my favorite segments of the show. Of course, you know what time it is. It is time for the shit whip of the week. And I don't know, maybe it's just 2020 and it's fucking weird, but the offensive players are hitting harder than defense this year. It just keeps happening. It keeps happening and keeps happening and keeps happening. And it happened again today. And holy hell, I'll tell you one thing, that Atlanta may have beat the pure living hell out of the Raiders. And the Raiders may have played like shit. But this was incredible. As we get to our shit whip of the week, you'll see multiple replays of this. Now, watch this replay up close, dude. This is brutal. And he goes straight helmet down, like the absolute worst way to do this possible. They do flag him for it because look at this. Head down. Watch how this dude goes fucking flying off of this helmet to helmet hit. Just boom. I mean, it's 3 yards he takes him with that hit. So yeah, personal foul called right after. No surprise there, I think, as he laughs it off. But Josh Jacobs, we'll see if we can pull it back for one more round of Josh Jacobs hitting the pure.
Well, I see that, Drew.
Yeah,
I see that, Drew, and I see a defense that gave up 43 points. I might think about lining Josh Jacobs up at linebacker. Or have him play both ways.
That's the hardest
first
hit.
Two-way player.
Yes, that's absolutely the hardest hit anyone on LA made all game long. I just love how he laughs after it. Like, I just whooped the pure living shit out of that dude. I think it was absolutely
if I'm the defensive coordinator, I'm in Gruden's ear. Like, can I use him on my side of the ball? I need someone who can hit like that.
Like, please.
Because we just gave up 43 points to the Falcons, no less.
Exactly. Yeah. I couldn't agree with you.
I just find it funny that the Falcons are playing a lot better since Dan Quinn left the city.
Shocker there. One more time. Check it out. There you go. Go flying 2 yards, young fella. Have fun. I'm guessing you'll probably go a little lower next time. I don't know what the hell he was trying to accomplish going high, but Josh Jacobs made sure he fucking paid for it. So there's our shit whip of the week. Congratulations, Josh Jacobs, who another offensive player getting a shit whip of the week, and I love it.
Yeah, a lot of running backs this year. I'm watching them, man. Yeah. A lot of them low and booms. Like they're saying, hey, if I'm going down or you're going to tackle me, I'm going to make you feel me too. And, that's, I wasn't a great player as a tight end, but the when I had the ball and I wasn't out running anyone to the end zone. So I would just try to like hit somebody with the ball and put my shoulder into it. See a lot more guys doing that. It's fun. Someone's done that before. It's a pretty fun feeling when a guy goes backwards and you're the cause of it, especially when you're the offensive cause of it. And, we're seeing a lot more of that. And, there's
Jacobs
a few other guys that
violent. Jacobs runs violent, dude.
Yeah.
He's a violent runner. Like he runs hard.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's another guy that fits that bill. And, it's fun to watch those guys that do that stuff.
Yes.
Because, the NFL's taken a lot of the hitting on the defensive side of the ball out. They've kind of penalized it out of the game. So we're getting a lot of those physicalities on the offensive side now, like you said.
Yes.
And so we got, as a purist, as someone who's been a fan of football for a long time, we're going to have to get our satisfaction a little bit more than we're used to on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Sounds weird to say, but it's true.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap up, John, this is actually something I tweeted you about. This is by far the funniest thing I saw all day. So I'm just going to throw it up here on the screen real quick. This is Tyreek Hill. The audio should play on this one. This is Tyreek Hill after his domination going on, as you see, 27-10 at the time.
Bucks fans and pretending to talk on the phone down on the sidelines. Telling the fans,
help is on the way. Pulling the old Shannon Sharp, help is on the way. I don't know why the audio didn't end up playing.
I don't know what kind of help.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what kind of help.
They've already signed Antonio Brown, Gronk. They're running out of helps on the way in Tampa Bay.
I know. That's pretty funny.
They got about all the help they can get.
I love it.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, he had a monster game. Like the guy covering him, Davis there.
Oh
For
gosh.
Tampa Bay was. I do not want to be in film session this week
No.
if I'm him.
No.
He's going to be in trouble. He's in trouble because
Yeah.
I really felt bad. I watched some of this game. They really just start going after him. It was like premeditated. That was Mahomes like saying, "Hey, I'm going to keep throwing it to you. That Davis guy can't." And why they kept covering Tyreek Hill 1-on-1 was ridiculous.
They never tried a double. They never tried anything. It was
roll over the
safety.
Do
anything. Yes,
you don't even have to double cover. Like just play some zone, but put a safety.
Or drop a lot, fade a safety, drop a linebacker, blitz from the other side. Don't fucking blitz if you don't have to. Try and create some pressure from your front four, but drop someone back or fade someone over. I mean, you have to. They just all day long he was just past them. It was quite a thing to watch, and it was impressive. And if that's what it's going to be like when they want to get hot, you saw it in Mahomes' eyes today. He came out ready to fucking play. He knew he was playing Brady. He knew this was going to be talked about. He knew if he lost, it was going to be a bunch of shit. He came out and treated this like a playoff game. And I mean, the dude put up 400 and some yards and damn 200 in the first quarter or some crap. Just ridiculous all around, amazing performance. But all around, pretty amazing. But definitely Tyreek Hill and Derrick Henry probably get the award for guys of the week. But guys, it is that time. It is time to wrap up the show. But before we wrap up, a couple of different things. One thing I would like to announce is that we do have a new sponsor. Starting next week, you'll be able to see the commercials and everything. But a new sponsor is going to be joining us. It is Gas House Extracts. They focus on CBD, in particular, some of the creams and stuff like that to help with ailments and everything. And they're really focused on moving into the athletic side of using CBD. And so honored to have them come join the show and help us out a little bit. And so welcome everybody from Gas House Extracts to the show. Thank you guys so much for your belief in the show. So I wanted to introduce those guys to you as you'll see them in the future here in the next couple episodes. And other than that, really, guys, I just wanted to make sure everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Hope everyone had a wonderful one. John, hope you had a great holiday. Spent some time with the family, I hope.
Yeah, I was hoping to watch a Steeler game at 8 p.m. That didn't. But no, Thanksgiving was solid as usual. As those watching can tell, I ate too much. And if you're not watching, remember we're live every Sunday night, 9:30. Come on, join the show. It's audio and visual. I can't speak, but come on the show and teach me Ebonics. But even if you disagree, come on and tell. We're not. Listen, I went 0-3 in one of my picks this week, so it's obviously I'm not perfect. So you can come on and tell me where I'm wrong or true. And we love to have
what we
you.
want. We want that interaction.
Yeah, we get a lot of the comments in the chat room, and those are great. We appreciate those as well. But you can come on the screen, and even if you don't want, you're not going to be any uglier than me. But if you feel like you might give me a run for my money and you don't want to be on the screen, you can come on without visual and still talk. And we're fine with that as well.
Absolutely. And guys, like John said, if you're listening to this on podcast form and you'd like to see the visual and call in, then it is every Sunday at 9:30 Eastern. But hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Currently, we've got a stellar game between the Packers and the Bears. There's a shitload of sarcasm laced in there as the Packers are just literally running all over the Bears right now. Shocker with Mitch Trubisky at quarterback, but Jalen Hurts, we'll see how he does on Monday. Guys, we'll be back with our picks video on Thursday. You might want to be paying attention. I know John's going to say he did bad this week, but overall, we're way ahead of most Vegas people this year. It's a very tight race. I did terrible this week too, I think. It's a very close race between the both of us, but you can definitely win some money on some of those picks. But thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Yes, we do, and that'll be coming next week. So stay tuned
All
for the
right.
picks, guys, as we have for week 13. That'll be coming out here on Thursday evening. But till then, talk to you guys later, and hope you have a good one. Peace.
Roughing the passer calls.